Hey y'all, welcome to the filling station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in this market or to just learn from the market. But first, y'all, let me give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. If you could please like, share, comment, subscribe, because we learn and we grow together. With that being said, let's get started. So we are looking at AMD today. We closed at $97.35. And as you can see, y'all, we've been trading in this little gathering spot or consolidation area. And always, where are the trouble places? As of now, it seems as if that 99.27 is a support place. We've been trading in this zone here, 99.27 as support, resistance at around $100.14. So where are the trouble places to the upside? Back to the upside, we will need to break the $100.14, and we could possibly have trouble again, $100.45. Breaking that $100.86. Now, if we break that $100.86 there, the next area I have at 102.26. And keep in mind, there's something that can stop us out in this, because that is kind of like a big jump from here to here. So I would say definitely be careful at the $100.88 or 88 cents up to the 102.26, breaking that 102.80. Now let's look back to the downside. Looks like we are trying to decline. So under the $99.27, that was quick, right? So under 99.27, we can come back to the ATR trail and stop 98.70, breaking that kind of close. There's a few layers of support here. So I would say if we break that 98.70 or that 98.54 area, we could very well come back to this, and that's around 97.69. And if we should break that 97.09, breaking that brings us back to 96.71. Breaking that 96.71, we have 96.07, which is where that 200 EMA is as of now. Keep in mind, y'all, in this market, anything is possible. So if you're trading AMD today, those are kind of areas to the upside and to the downside. Let's go look at Tesla today just to see where we are. And again, I do apologize that my Tesla charts are in the SPY is normally a little bit more congested. Why? Because I've been charting them for a while, and I kind of want to know where my possible trouble places are. With that being said, Tesla closed at 282.16. As you can see, our support is around this 282.22, you know, here as support, resistance at around 285, 284.99 or 285.07. So let's see, where is two lines there. Let's say 284.99 is going to be our resistance area. So breaking back, you know, back to the upside, we could possibly have trouble again at this 285.43. Something stopped us in this area. Breaking that brings us back to around 285.71. Should we break that? 286.42. 287.35, breaking that 288.31, breaking that 289.73. Should we break that 291.11, could be a possible rejection area place for us. 291.11, breaking that 292.72. Now back to the downside. Let's say, for instance, we break under this area 282.18. We could possibly find support again 280.84. Breaking that, there's a few layers of support here. So we're going to use the 200 EMA around the 279.16. Should we break this level, it brings us back to the 277.40 area, and which is not far from that ATR trail and stop, in my opinion. Strong support or strong resistance. In this case, it will be support 277.05. Breaking that brings us back to 276.30. If we should break that 276.30, we can come back to around 274.62, and here at 273.31, 272.39. What's interesting about Tesla is we traded in this area. You see, I have this gray shaded area marked. We traded here for a while, and then we broke out of that area to the upside. Now, it wouldn't surprise me to see us back in this area, which is really close to that ATR trail and stop around the 277 area. So if you're trading Tesla today, those are kind of areas to the upside and to the downside. Again, not financial advice. So we are now looking at the SPY. Yes, it is a little different. We close at 554.54. Where are the trouble places as of right now? So Resistance is around the 561.01. Support is around this level here of 559.84. So back to the upside, we would need to break back above again this 561.01. We could possibly have trouble 561.28 again at 561.69, 562.04. 562.56, and if we should break that 562.91, breaking that could bring us back to around 563.50, and we could possibly have some area, trouble at that area. Now back to the downside, breaking under this 559.84, we could possibly have trouble again. 559.52, 559.23, 559, and then the 558.60. 558.32 brings us back to this area here. Should we break that, the ATR trailing stop as of now 557.79. So if you are trading the SPY today, those are kind of areas to the upside and to the downside. What is interesting to me is this candle here at 8 o'clock. Normally when I see a high of a candle at 561.75 and a low of a candle at 554.13, what stopped it at this area here is my, overthinking. I would wonder what would stop us. So again, it would not surprise me to see us back in this area for the SPY. Again, not financial advice. So if you're trading the SPY today, I say often, y'all, trade carefully in this market. Anything is possible. Let's look at NVDA today just to see where we are. We closed at 108.92, and let's say where the support area is around, let's say the 113.34, resistance possibly 114.47 or 114.50. So breaking that 114.50 area, 115.28, 115.66, 115.97. So those are very close. All of this, we're going to say, we could possibly have trouble again, from the 115.28 down up to the 116.42, because there are a few layers that can stop us out there. Again, I look at support and resistance on a smaller scale. Why? Because when I'm in the trade, I kind of want to know where my possible trouble places are. So if we break all of these layers here, the 115.97, 116.42, we could possibly have trouble 117.01, 117.29, 117.60, 117.86, 118.16. Those could possibly be your rejection areas for NVIDIA. Now let's look to the downside. Under this level here of 113.29, we could possibly find support here at 112.65. As you can see, price has been gathering in this area, and for some reason it chose to go to the upside. However, that does not necessarily mean we cannot come back to that. So under 112.65, 112.66, we have the ATR trail and stop here at 112.15. breaking that brings us back to 111.72, which is kind of close to that 200 and that 20. That is the 50. I do apologize. The 50 EMA at 111.59. Breaking that brings us back to 111.33. And again, 110.95. Under 110.95, 110.38. And again, there's a few layers here for NVIDIA. So if we should break this area, I would say 109.85. So from the 110.35 or 110.38 down to the 109.87, we could very well find some type of support. Breaking that, we can come back to 109.01, and breaking that to 200 EMA is, as of now, is at the 108.78. So if you are trading NVIDIA today, those are kind of areas to the upside and to the downside. Again, y'all, not financial advice. We are now looking at Meta, and it's interesting that, Meta reported earnings after hours on yesterday. We closed at 549, and do you all see we made a high of 587.70. Yes. So where are the trouble places for Meta as of right now? It seems like it was just trading in this zone here. So I'm going to use our support here at around 581.53. Resistance was, let's say here, 587.17. So it's trading kind of like in this zone here. So, so where the trouble places, it needs to get back above the 586.25. We could possibly have trouble 587.05, 587.70. Breaking that level, 589.08. Should we break that, 590.21, 590.81, 591.98. 591.98. If we should break that area, 5 592.98, and then we should break that 594.29. Yes. Now back to the downside. If by chance we break under this level 580.90, well, let's go back. If we break under this 5 EMA at 584.17, we could very well find support 582.96. Breaking that brings us back to 582.22. You can see price was in this area here. Should we break that, we could possibly come back to 581.53, again at 580.90. Now breaking this area here of support, that is our 20 EMA on this 30-minute chart. Should we break this level, we could very well come back to 579.28, breaking that 577.64, and breaking that level 576.23. Should we break that, 575.25, and breaking that brings us back to the ATR trail and stop around the 573.84. Keep in mind that the stock is going to gap up. That means it's going to create a gap to the downside. Not saying that that could, it's going to get filled today. It's just a nice gap to the downside that's going to need to be filled at some point. So if you're trading Meta today, those are kind of areas to the upside and to the downside. Again, y'all, not financial advice. I say trade carefully because there's so many ways to trade the market, y'all, but what's challenging is having that discipline to execute your plan. So again, I hope these videos are very, very helpful. I hope that everyone have a very profitable day, a very productive day today. If you if you could, please like, share, comment, subscribe, because we learn and we grow together. With that being said, y'all, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others.